Hey everybody, Dan Holstein here with another Rev Up Your Business video. This week I want to share a story with you. About a year ago I was on the train on my way to Toronto with my son. We're going to a hockey game. It was the NHL game. It was the Leafs, go Leafs. And across the aisle from us was another father and son, younger guy, about mid-20s, talking to his young, maybe 4-year-old son. And it sounded like they're really excited about these great tickets they got. It sounded like it was either box seats or like right behind the net, something awesome. Now, if you ever gone to an NHL game, especially the Leafs, you know the tickets are very, very pricey. We had nosebleeds given to us, and but they were $80, right? So anyway, so he was talking to his son about, yeah, you know, these are really, really good seats. They cost a lot of money, but luckily so-and-so gave them to us because we'll never be able to afford tickets like that. I thought, oh my gosh, what a horrible thing to tell a 4-year-old that you'll never be able to do something, ever be able to afford tickets, great tickets to a game again. I mean, why not? So what's happening here, this dad was taking his own scarcity mindset and injecting it to his son and teaching his son about scarcity and not being able to have things. What if that little guy had never heard that and decided, hey, I could go to any awesome game I want and found a way to do it, right? As opposed to thinking, well, I believe everything dad says and dad says we can't afford it, so I guess we just can't. So he's creating this scarcity mindset in his son. Now I see this happening with business owners too, in terms of 3 different areas: money and time and also their team. And here's how it shows up. Money. Oh, we can't afford that. Whether that is a new hire, a piece of equipment, a trade show they want to go present at, whatever it is, we can't afford it. And all of a sudden, think of that language, can't afford it. Very final, we're done. There's no further conversation after it, right? Or with time, haven't got time. Done, conversation's over, no time. Or there's no good people out there anymore. Again, these blanket statements that are really just opinions. What we want to do, if you ever catch yourself using language like can't afford it, no time, no good people, you got to give yourself a bit of an awareness check here to see, are you using language like that? And I want you to shift it. And here's what we're going to shift it into: an open-ended question. If you have the I can't afford it, ask yourself, okay, we don't have the money for it right now or the cash flow. What would need to happen so that we can afford it? What do I need to do a little bit different so I can afford it? When you ask yourself a question like that, it opens up possibility. You might come up with an idea, a plan that you can execute on and at least try it, as opposed to just writing it off saying, hey, we can't afford it, right? Now when it comes to time, haven't got time. Well, okay, maybe you don't have time right now for the thing that you want to do. What would have to happen? Here's the question again. What would have to happen so I had a few minutes so I could do that? Or if I could, what would have to happen that I could get an hour back every week or an hour a day even so I could do what I want to do? Again, open-ended question that could lead to possibility of having a plan and taking action. And the same goes for team. There's no good people out there anymore. Baloney. There's lots of good people out there. You're a good people, right? So you're out there. So seriously, what you have to ask yourself is, what do I need to do in order to attract someone else great to my team? I am not finding them right now, so let's just say that our methodology isn't working. So what do we need to do different? How do I need to communicate? What kind of leader do I need to be? What kind of questions do I need to be asking prospective team members? Okay, so it's not about these finality things that this is how it is. If you catch yourself using blanket statements that keep you stuck in a scarcity mode or unhappy about something, you'll stay there until you start asking better questions about what would have to happen, what do I need to do, who can I talk to, who can I connect with, what would need to change. Okay, so that's your job for this week. Catch yourself using blanket statements about stuff that just is the way it is, which isn't true, and just ask yourself, what would have to happen so I could change that? And that opens up the possibility of actually having the change and not being stuck. Okay, that's it for this week. Just get the awareness of when using those final statements, start asking yourself some open-ended questions about what you could do a little bit differently to get what you actually want instead of staying stuck, which is what you don't want. All right, that's it for now. Catch you next time. Have a great week.